We're glad to have you join us on Gateway Diary. I am Victoria Oniaye. On today's episode of the program, Governor Dapo Abiodun visits Aton Lusada Road, gives timeline for completion of the project. Less than 2 weeks after Governor Dapo Abiodun ordered contractors to fast-track the completion of the Denro Ishashi Akute Road, we bring you update from the site. Plus, Governor Dapo Abiodun joins other eminent Nigerians to celebrate two illustrious sons of Ogun State, former Governor Olusegun Osoba and Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, as they celebrate their 85th and 90th birthdays. We have details of these stories and more in a moment. Those are your news headlines across the state. Let's start off with our first story. Governor Dapo Abiodun is devoted to alleviating the pains of residents of the state, particularly in the area of infrastructure. He knows that Ogun State, being the industrial capital of the country, needs good roads to thrive, and he is committed to ensuring that all roads in the state, whether federal or state-owned, are in good shape. He made the promise during his visit to the Aton Lusada Agbara Road in Ado-Odo local government area of the state.
Agbara-Aton Lusada Highway, another significant road project being undertaken by the Prince Dapo Abiodun administration in Ado-Odo local government area of Ogun State. This road connects Agbara Industrial Estate, one of the biggest industrial estates in West Africa, with the commercial city of Lagos, and positions Ogun State as the industrial capital of Nigeria. This major road infrastructure falls within the purview of federal government roads and has suffered total abandonment over the years, causing untold hardship on the livelihood of residents of the area and stunting business growth. But Governor Dapo Abiodun is not waiting anymore for the federal government to step in. True to his proactive style, he's taking the bull by the horns and addressing the issue head-on to alleviate the suffering of his people by fixing the road immediately.
I came here, I met with a cross-section of the manufacturers that are operating from this industrial estate. And they extracted from me a commitment that when I assume office, I will look into their plight. And what was their plight? This road had become totally unmotorable. It had become a non-existing road. It was non-existent. Trailers bringing raw materials from Lagos port to process in Agbara Industrial Estate were tipping over and containers were falling. Companies in this estate were closing down, either living here, going to the neighboring country, Benin and Ghana, or going to Lekki Free Trade Zone. Bankers were calling me that they were exposed to these companies, and these companies were struggling to continue to be an ongoing concern because of the terrible state of this road. And I made a commitment to them. I said, when I become governor, I will prioritize the reconstruction of this road. This is very important road.
There's more to the story. Governor Dakwa Abiodun tried to get the previous federal government to step in, but he kept hitting brick walls, especially with the Aton Lusada and Sangota Belkuta expressways, which have been in terrible shape for decades. Despite knowing that taking on such a massive project will strain the state's budget, he still decided to take the plunge. Today, the efforts are paying off and finally got the green light from the current federal government.
I moved in there, I awarded the contract of that place. And I reconstructed that stretch because it was important for me to bring the needed relief to the plight of our suffering masses. So we kept on being frustrated. The argument was that it was under contract to Julius Berger, but they were not funding Julius Berger. We tried everything. We were not able to make any progress. But thankfully, last year, when our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in, I went again to him. I pleaded with him. I showed him pictures of the state of the road. And I wrote to him, applied that the road should be transferred to us. Our President sometime, I think in April, at the Federal Executive Council, pronounced that the road should be transferred to Ogun State government.
Governor Dakwa Abiodun is already fulfilling his promise to the people. Men and machine are on site, just like they are in other senatorial districts across the state, and he's constantly visiting the sites with a promise to ensure that the best quality and standards are maintained. For him, the immediate needs of the people will be prioritized at all times.
I'm here today to see for myself, have an on-the-spot assessment of how the contractor is doing, because I've given them certain timelines and I want to ensure that they are working in tandem to ensure they meet those timelines. I've said to them that they must ensure that from the Lagos-Badagry end, the dual carriageway is completed to the entrance of the industrial estates, the OPIC entrance, so that the trucks, trailers that are coming from the port can enjoy the dual carriageway, easily, go in and out effortlessly, so we can increase productivity and enhance the operations, and now focus on one lane beyond the OPIC entrance, all the way to Aton first. Let's finish that, so that people can enjoy, the driving pleasure all the way from Lagos-Badagry Road to Aton on one side.
While the construction works continue, Governor Dakwa Abiodun's detractors are not resting on their game of attempting to discredit his government's efforts. But he is not distracted or deterred. He is working hard and moving, winning more laurels.
As a responsible administration, we decided that with or without the formal papers, and I'm saying this for the records, I remain to be controverted. With or without papers, we will go ahead and take over that road. So we went into our State Executive Council and we awarded that contract. That contract has been awarded since, I think, May of this year. So when I see sponsored, orchestrated media attacks, people going to the road, who in their right minds, which hard-working, busy human being will be driving on a road, no matter how bad it is, and come out of his car and carry his phone and start say, look at this road, oh, look at Dakwa Abiodun, oh, he's not doing anything in Ogun State, oh. Obviously, these are sponsored by politicians that have done everything to distract me, but I've remained laser focused.
The residents of these communities have borne the brunt of neglect by previous governments, but now their stories of hardship are turning into songs of hope and freedom. They are excited and eagerly anticipating the relief and comfort that's finally coming their way.
It was very, very bad. Like, practically, when we walk on this road, then everybody was very angry. The masses are complaining. When it rains, it's very difficult for us to move. Sometimes we will hold our clothes. We'll just be like, everywhere is messed up, messy. But thank God for today, everywhere is fine. At least we can walk freely without any much problem.
If you go to most of the shops here, the dust will spoil the goods. People that sell materials like clothes, most of them close down because of the dust that spoils their materials. And we believe that when they finish, it will be the best for us, because most people packed up. If you see shops, they are closed down because nobody is there. But now we believe that they will come back, and people are renting shops now.
The construction of these roads will not only benefit residents of Agbara and Lusada communities, but also different industries clustered in the Agbara Industrial Hub and the Ogun Industrial Hub. He insists he will not be distracted.
We will not sit back idly and allow anyone to attempt to distract us from my lines. Anyone who tries to disparage us, malign us, misrepresent us, we will descend on them with the fullest weight of the law. Because that is the right thing to do. It's good for you to criticize us. It's good for you to bring things to our attention. We cannot all be agreeing with each other all the time, because it will only mean that only one person is doing the thinking. We don't claim to know it all.
Governor Dakwa Abiodun's promise is that the roads will be delivered in 4 months, a testament to his dedication to easing the infrastructure burden on the people. This audacious initiative will not only place him in the history books of the state and the country, but also mark him as the leader who turned a dire situation around and brought smiles to the faces of his people.
Moving on to our next story, less than 2 weeks after the visit of Governor Dakwa Abiodun to the ongoing Denro Ishashi Akute Road, contractors have started laying asphalt on all sections of the road in line with the governor's directive. He is not only committed to finishing the construction of this road, but also interested in the opening up of more communities for development.
Machines are back on site at the Denro Akute Alagbole Ishashi Road. The pace of work is moving faster than usual to meet the deadline set by Governor Dakwa Abiodun when he visited a few weeks ago. He had promised to expedite construction work in that access to ease the hardship experienced by the residents of the area who have had to cope with total abandonment by previous administration. The most affected are those whose homes were pulled down to pave the way for the road construction.
It appears as if we're not reconstructing them as fast as they want us to. But my pledge is that I've come here today to see for myself. There are 2 roads that are considerably important to our people. First of all, the Denro Ishashi Akute have given the contractor a marching order that road must be completed in the next 2 weeks. Asphalted, the bridge completed. Now, all the other roads that they've complained about, I'm going to see the other road, and after I see them, I will make pronouncements regarding timelines when those roads will also be given the deserving attention.
Governor Dakpo Abiodun's words are his bond with the people, and he is obviously giving his detractors a run for their tantrums as he is breaking grounds in areas where they have failed.
Today we can brag and say not only have we constructed over 600 kilometers of highway or roads, both interstate, intrastate, inner city roads, but I beat my chest and said there is no local government in Ogun State today that does not have at least 1 or 2 roads that we have reconstructed in the last 5 years. And that is in line with being equitable and fair.
The road connects Ogun State with the commercial city of Lagos, and it is also that part of the gateway state that has over the years suffered untold hardship whenever it rained. But now it is equipped with proper drainages on both sides and concrete culverts that serve as walkways for pedestrians.
Now the contractor is working around the clock to get things moving. So you'll be seeing a lot of activities in that area. As well, as I've seen, there's work going on at multiple locations along the road.
The people of Ogun State, who are the most important stakeholders, are beginning to see the difference between a leadership style that is people-centric and that which glorifies trivial matters and vendettas. They now know that Governor Dakpo Abiodun does not just have their interests at heart. He is impacting in almost every sector of the state's economy and bringing smiles to their faces.
In fairness to him, immediately he left that day, we discovered that all the machinery started coming in. They started bringing in the asphalt, the stone base and all that. Then we are very sure that something will happen. It's just 9 days away and they're almost done, which means governors, the action he puts on actually work for them. So we expect him to, most of the time, go around, speed up things and make the citizens, especially the Ogun State individual, let us be happy with him. They like what he's doing anyway.
Yes, all of us feel happy, we feel great because we are facing a lot of challenges. The water that used to come, because then most people, I know 3 or 2 people that fell down from the bridge and broke their leg and they are in serious pain. Some of them are still in the hospital. So that is why when they start the work, the project, we are very happy and excited.
It is more than just a construction project. It is a promise of progress and a brighter future for Ogun State and a proof that under the leadership of Governor Abiodun, Ogun State is not just being rebuilt, it is being reimagined for greatness.
Just before we go, Ogun State is blessed with many illustrious sons and daughters, and celebrating these set of people is important to Governor Dakpo Abiodun. That is why he joined other sons and daughters of the state to celebrate 2 icons, the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who clocked 90, and former Governor Olusegun Osoba, who clocked 85. It's a celebration of success and a milestone attained in the area of literature, journalism, activism, and politics. We captured the moments.
It's been a busy but eventful week for Governor Dakpo Abiodun of Ogun State and his team. Beyond the hustle and bustle of official duties and the usual rounds of infrastructure inspections, they found time to honor 2 of the state's most esteemed icons, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who turned 90, and former Governor Olusegun Osoba, who celebrated his 85th birthday. These two eminent Nigerians are not just figures of pride for Ogun State, they are trailblazers on the global stage. Professor Soyinka, a literary giant, and Chief Osoba, a distinguished journalist, have left indelible marks in their respective fields. Their achievements have brought immense pride to Ogun State, both at home and abroad, serving as beacons of inspiration and excellence for the people of Ogun State. Let's start with a grand celebration in honor of the creative genius, Professor Wole Soyinka, in Abeokuta, the state capital. Professor Wole Soyinka arrives the auditorium in company of the Governor, Dakwa Abiodun, as he is greeted to a rousing welcome from guests and other eminent Nigerians present.
We take immense pride in being home and being the owner of this literary icon. As we realize, many would like to kidnap him and make him their citizen. But Nalayo Anigba, he's the proud son of our dear state, and he has his roots right here. As an administration, we'll continue to draw inspiration from him as we relentlessly pursue qualitative education and human capital development. This remains a key enabler of our Ishaya mantra.
It's a gathering that brings together a galaxy of the state's most distinguished sons and daughters, alongside esteemed friends of the literary giant from across the country. Former Commonwealth Secretary General Chief Emeka Anyoku is among the special guests who have come to share the joy of celebrating one of the biggest exports of Ogun State. The birthday cake itself is a marvel, crafted in the shape of a library with shelves lined with books that symbolize Professor Wole Soyinka's vast knowledge and celebrated literary achievements. It's a fitting tribute to a man whose intellect has inspired generations. Chief Emeka Anyoku, a longtime close friend of Professor Wole Soyinka, had the honor of presiding over the cutting of the cake.
U, M, and O.
For Professor Soyinka, the birthday celebration is yet another opportunity to appreciate everyone for the honor.
The spirit of celebration, which made even me feeling not so tortured as I normally do on occasions like this. So thank you once again, and I promise you that when you come to visit me at the Autonomous Republic of Ijeba, I shall tell the immigration officer to grant you visas without payment. Thank you so much.
Similar celebration also held in Lagos, this time in honor of Chief Olusegun Osoba, the former governor of Ogun State and a journalist of great repute. The event saw Governor Dakwa Abiodun joining other distinguished Nigerians, including the Vice President, to honor Chief Osoba. Governor Abiodun highlighted Chief Osoba's remarkable legacy, noting how his tenure in government left a lasting impact, particularly at the grassroots level. According to him, the gathering is a testament of Chief Osoba's enduring influence and the deep respect he commands across the nation.
Chief Olusegun Osoba's contributions to development, stability, and progress of Nigeria and Ogun State are etched in our history and will continue to inspire us all. During his tenure as governor, he exemplified unwavering dedication, integrity, and a profound commitment to public service.
Governor Abiodun has again demonstrated that he is not just focused on developing physical infrastructures and impacting lives. He is also committed to celebrating illustrious sons and daughters of the state who are trailblazing paths and solidifying the state's reputation as a cradle of geniuses on the global stage.
And that's the show today, everyone. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, and I hope you enjoyed every bit of it. Join us next time for another interesting package. Until then, I am Victoria Oniaye. Bye for now.